Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk, the Rotherham United podcast. This time is the Scout Report. We're looking ahead, and this time we've got Reading this weekend. We're going to find out all the latest happenings down there at the moment. We have Alex from Elm Park Royals. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, one last night, one at the weekend, so can't complain too much at the minute.
Absolutely. Let us ask the question that I'm sure you're getting asked all the time at the minute. Where are things at the minute? We all know the recent takeover failure by the Cohigs. Is there any light at the end? Can you see anything at the moment, a way out of it at the moment?
No, the tunnel's very, very dark. It would be great to come on here and say, yeah, there's loads of movement, but it doesn't seem really like there is any at the minute. I think maybe there is in the background, but it's being kept very, very quiet if it is. So at the minute, it is just sort of a wait and see job, and we have to kind of just hope that the money which has apparently been injected into the club, we'll wait and see whether that's true or not. Apparently there has been some money injected into the club which is going to keep them going till there's a sale, but it's very difficult to really trust or believe anything that comes out of the club officially anymore. So everybody is just kind of just holding on hope that something happens in the background that we don't hear or know about at the minute.
I suppose with these things that are obviously terrible what's happening, and we all hope that it gets sorted quickly. But I imagine it's brought the fans together and the players that have stuck around and the manager. I imagine it's built a little bit of a bond between everybody that's kind of stuck it out.
Yeah, certainly between the manager and the fans, we haven't had a bond between like squad and fans like this for a good number, probably since Young took over in 2017, and even before that, really. I would say it's probably the strongest we've had for a decade. And we've had players who obviously signed last year on the basis of one promise, but have obviously been sold down the river a bit, and they've nearly all stayed. I think we've only lost players who have come through the academy, and ultimately a lot of that is due to the fact that contracts are up at the end of last season and things like that, and they kind of got moved on in January for 2 bags of crisps and a packet of polos. But the players who are still here, yeah, there's definitely a big bond between the squad and the fans at this point. It's pretty cool to see.
And to be fair, in the league, I know it's probably not where you want to be, but bearing in mind the circumstances, you're doing reasonably well mid-table at the minute. It's difficult to ask this question because you don't know where you were in this. But what was the pre-season hope? Footballing wise, could you hope for anything because you just weren't sure? Or
it's a difficult one. I think pre-season, because we kind of were expecting Takeover to go through pre-season, I think people's expectations were that if we could finish somewhere between 6th and 12th, 13th in that upper half of the table, that would be a reasonably good season. I think maybe expectations have shifted a little bit over the last few weeks because of the takeover falling through, and the squad depth is just so minimal now that it's difficult to really pin down any sort of real expectation. I think I would still personally be disappointed if we were to finish anything lower than about 13th or 14th. We do have a pretty strong team, and as you say, we're singing 12th at the minute. And we started the season relatively well with a pretty difficult schedule so far. So I would be disappointed if we were to finish kind of lower half of the table. Certainly anything lower than 13th or 14th would be pretty disappointing. Obviously, all of this is really highly dependent on whether we get any points deductions and things like that, which I have to hope that we don't again. But yeah, without those, I would say kind of we're aiming for the top half, and I don't think that's too unrealistic at the minute.
Yeah, it looks like it should be all right. Talking about styles and stuff, we know Ruben Sellers was briefly at Southampton. What kind of style does he bring? Has he been able to build a style, bearing in mind obviously the transfer restrictions you've had?
Yeah, I mean the style has really been built a lot in the last year. It's very, very high pressing. We press extremely high with 2 wide players, and the 2 kind of attacking central midfielders will push on as well and try and press. So our last 3 goals have all come from pressing in the final third and won the ball back and scored within 3 to 5 seconds of winning the ball back. So there's that kind of high press style is definitely developed over the last year or so. Other than that, we mix it up a bit. The vast majority of the time, there's quite a few long balls from the back up to Sam Smith to try and, for him to bring the ball down and bring the 2 wide players into play. And some of that comes from the central defenders. Some of that comes from Lewis Wing playing a deeper role this season versus last season. But yeah, generally we're either a counter-attacking team or direct team. We're not really a team which kind of keeps the ball for the sake of it and knocks it around without really much purpose. When we do have the ball, there is quite a fast style and it's quite direct to try and move the ball forwards.
I've got to ask about Lewis Wing. He's not very popular at these parts, leaving us for Sheffield Wednesday. But having had him in the Championship, I assume he's at League One level. I expect he is very, very good and played very well for you. Yeah,
I mean, he was player of the season last year for Reading. He's on-pitch captain at the moment. He scored, I think it was 10 goals in the end of last season, maybe more than 10, actually. I think he might have got as many as 11 or 12, but he got 10 goals, 10 assists, something like that last season. And I think 6 or 7 of those goals from outside the area. He basically led the team last year, really, in terms of chance creation. Reading fans love him. He's quite comfortably one of our most talented players. And also, really, at the moment, one of our most experienced as well. I think he's 28 or 29, and he's by far one of our most experienced players when you look at both age and kind of appearances within the Football League. So, yeah, he's a really big player for us and really well loved by Reading fans.
Is there any other players that stand out that we should be aware of? You seem like a good unit at the minute. Is there any standout players?
Yeah, Ben Elliott in the centre of midfield has come on leaps and bounds since the start of last season. He was a Chelsea Academy product who not had any sort of loan period out into the Football League before he got released from Chelsea at the start of last season. We signed him on a free from Chelsea, and then last season he was involved a lot within the squad, but it was often off the bench, and he never really quite kicked on last season. However, this season he's almost a different player. He's playing kind of a high central role in midfield. He's a very, very technically gifted footballer. He wouldn't look out of place playing in the Championship. I think he's got incredible skills with the ball at his feet. And he just doesn't really lose the ball very easily. If he goes into a 50-50, he's more than likely to win it, I would say, most of the time. He's had a very good start to the season. I think he's just scored his first 2 goals. He scored on Saturday and he scored the week before as well. So he's got 2 goals in the last 3, which were his first kind of league goals for the club. And then outside him, our 2 central defenders are Mbengwe and Bindon. Both of them are really good. Mbengwe, especially at the back, he's got incredible pace. Mbengwe, every game, the ball will be 5 or 10 yards away, and he'll give the defender, he'll give the attacker a 3 or 4 yard head start, and he'll get there easily. He's got incredible pace, and Reading fans have really taken to him because at the end of every home game where we win, he's the first one over to the fans to kind of like celebrate with them. And yeah, he's one to definitely keep an eye on Saturday playing at centre back.
And let's finish with a score prediction. But off back-to-back wins, do you reckon you're going to make it a third?
I would like to think that we have a chance, given the start that Rotherham have had. I think we're not the best away side, I'll be honest. We've struggled. We're a bit similar to you guys, I think, in that regard. We've struggled the last few years away from home as well. I'm going to say 1-1.
Fair enough. I can see that.
shared points.
Yeah. Brilliant. I appreciate it, Alex. We'll put the links for Elm Park Royals in the show notes. So if anyone wants to check out these guys, make sure you do. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done so already and like the show. We will see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.